Hello, it is me, child who's desperate for money and wants to do it over YouTube person. Today we're going to be talking about Google Earth because I'm too lazy to play any other game, if you can even call this a game. We're going to be pointing out I, very lonely me, in my basement will be pointing out the major and the best things that you can do with Google Earth. And I'm sorry, I just realized the problem. You can't really see that. There you go. Problem solved. Alright? My first and one of my favorite features in Google Earth is, if we open the tab right here, is the 3D. Now, the ability for 3D buildings is already amazing itself. You go down here, it's in primary database. You go down all the way to the 3D buildings section and you enable it. And for many cities, Google Earth has now done something. They did this in like 2014. They made it so that they had a personalized 3D image of major cities or cities that were requested by its citizens or by random people, or were just, they just wanted to make it 3D. Before, it was up to the people who you were using Google Earth. They had to create their own remakes and images of the cities. This now allows, they do update it, and quite so frankly, a lot. And you can really go for major cities. So here is Manhattan, probably the most looked at place on Google Earth. One of, if not, the only one. That in Los Angeles, likely, maybe Chicago. But this is a very familiar place. You can already, you already know it. I don't really have to go much over it. Luckily, Google Earth decided that it'd be a good idea to include my home town that I'm living in right now, Binghamton, New York, which really surprises me. It has about 50,000 citizens in it. It's not a big city. And they included this over Dubai. So, thank you very much, Google. Thank you very much for that. Now, the next features are up here. Of course, you can see all of these right here. You can pinpoint places. You can make whatever that is. You can do layers, polygons, add extra layers in timing. Well, I've already created, I have pre-made layers. We'll get to this in a little second. Actually, let's do this right now. So, as you can see, I have pinpointed all these, I've pinpointed I've pinpointed a large amount of, a large collection of radioactive areas that are, still radioactive today. Like McGuire Air Force Base or 3 Mile Island, Pennsylvania. And then if I go to Russia, there's Chernobyl and all that stuff. Pretty neat stuff. But we're going to be talking about another thing I have is this. You can okay, I've messed around with this. Hold on, I got to pause the video. I've messed around with this and stuff. I've made even an alternate scenario of a hurricane. But these are really kind of like theoretical things. So high sea levels, I've seen this been done so many times. You can do this. You can probably find this on the internet somewhere. How to do this, and you pretty much just type in all the things. You go to altitude, and then you can just increase the amount. So if I were to look at, say, 30 meters of water, this is what the world, and I have used coloring. You can actually see it has to be 3D cities or a 3D area. All cliffs and areas are like 3D, but the cities are probably the best ones to mess around with. And now you can see New York City underwater in 3D. It's really a very cool feature. And I like it. I approve of it. Next is these two features, and I'll be doing these features in New Orleans. We have right here, the sunrise. It's right time. So you can now I'm going to be looking at 3D New Orleans for this scenario, this thing. It's got to load up first. And you can take a look at the certain times of day You can bring it back. You can bring it to day, night. It's really cool for those kind of features. I don't know if you're like into shadow or stuff, shadows and things and whatever. It's kind of cool for that. But there's also the back in time feature, which is also really cool. There sadly isn't any 3D version for this. Okay, maybe there is. But I'm going to just disable it for now. And now we're going to be able to look at, say, Katrina, which is something that is included. Here would be now in 2017, latest picture. And if we go all the way back to 2005, August 2005, there's a lot of pictures of the city burnt and underwater. Maybe we have to go a little bit further in time. There it is. And now we can see the complete carnage and devastation of Hurricane Katrina all over again. It's a very neat feature. There also, if you go over in New York, go back to 2001, you will be able to witness 9/11. So there's another thing that you could also do with this back in time feature. I think it's very neat because in some places they go back to the 60s when the first satellites were in fact launched. Next few are going to be quicks. The ability to look at photos, that is very neat. You can go to any place in any place. You probably already know this because you started with it. I've disabled it, but if you turn it on, you can go to many locations in the world, and they'll have pictures that people have placed on the area. Very neat. Very neat. Yes. Also, weather is also a very cool feature because it allows to look at radar, clouds, and it really, I don't know, it seems cool. Right now, I believe that the only radar you can look at, I believe, honestly, is only in America. I'm not certain about it. I haven't been on in a while, but it's really cool when you want to look at these kind of storms. Like, here's a North Atlantic storm. It's very sustained. You can use this when hurricanes coming in. So when I used Google Earth to look at Sandy, and that was pretty cool. Finally, probably one of the most impressive features that is in Google Earth is the ability to look at other planets. This is definitely one of my favorite features. Because then it allows a larger field of activities you can do. Now, Google Earth, luckily, it maps many things, so you can look at, say, famous areas. Such as the moon landing. You can look at areas of satellite landings, such as the Luna landings and things like this. Also, what's really cool about it is that it allows you to see the dark side of the moon, which is rarely seen, but is quite cool. Now, you can see this line here. It's very different. This is because this is a highlighted area. This is filled with the most information, and it has the best detailed imagery, including right here, the Apollo 15 extravagant activity, blah, blah, blah. Many other landings. Not many other, but like Apollo 17. Where's Apollo 11? I don't know. But it's really cool. It's probably one of my favorite features, is the fact that they just, I don't know, I love it. What do I mean? I don't know. It's really cool. There it is, Apollo 11. And it's a very smart feature on Google Earth's behalf. Because look at this. Now right here, you can go ahead and you can look at the very first moon landing. Of course, the image isn't the best, but think about it. This is the moon. It even has in 3D there's even 3D on the moon. I never knew that. But you can see that they're probably, if you look close enough, you could probably see some other things. They have the flag that's highlighted. Fun fact, the flag is actually white now because the sun would have just beat on it so much that the color would have been sucked out of it and turned to white, just like the rest of the moon. And it's a very neat feature. Anyways, thank you for watching this. This is a very pointless decision. Thank you for watching, and please share I want more money.